Recognised last year by the United Nations, the right to a healthy environment could soon be enshrined in the nation's capital.
This is diabolically sneaky.
This will be really quite powerful right across all agencies of government in how they're considering this right in their everyday work.
So this new human rights law is going to be all-powerful. That's what she said, across all government agencies in all of the work that they do.
The definition of a healthy environment includes a few key elements: clean air, clean water, a safe climate, sustainably produced food, and healthy ecosystems and biodiversity.
All but the centre one are just common sense, don't need to be legislated, should happen anyway, and can be measured and quantified. But everyone can see the one in the middle, that's the attack weapon. How are they meant to control the climate? What's their plan for it? What are they going to set it to? Well, their plans are to lock everyone down, 15-minute cities. I don't need to keep going. We all know what's coming.
The bill would add it to the Territory's Human Rights Act, which helps shape other government decisions. But that could make for a delicate balancing act on some issues.
Now, this is where they are really sneaky. Now, they're not introducing a standalone safe climate bill purely because they can't measure it, they can't quantify it, they can't show and demonstrate that anything that they're doing has anything to do with the climate. It's all just measures that they claim are helping the climate that are going to impact on human rights. They introduce it as another human right that is on the same level, according to them, the playing field, as existing human rights, such as being able to move freely and go about your business without the government on top of you. Because as a separate bill, they would have to produce evidence that what they're doing is having an effect in order to counteract your human rights. So listen to what this piece of work says.
No human right is absolute, so rights interact with other rights.
So she just made clear the tactic right there, that no human right is absolute and rights interact with other rights. Now, if it wasn't a human right with this safe climate bullshit, well, it couldn't interact, but now it can.
And they're also subject to a public interest test.
So they're going to interpret the safe climate right as a collective right, as a public interest right. So when it comes up against an individual's rights, well, that's going to take precedence.
Still, environmental advocates have welcomed the Australian first move.
All right, the rest of the video I'm not going to play. It just has more like this person that paid to sell us out people who take the cash. They also include some wisdom from, I think she's meant to be Australia's Greta Thunberg. I don't make a habit of watching the news, so I don't even know who she is. Except they mentioned she was a litigant, like when she was at school or something. She's in university now.
What's still unclear is how the right to a healthy environment will stack up against other rights.
So in his summary, he's careful not to mention the safe climate one, just that something that's measurable, whether the environment's polluted or not. You could at least check that.
When they inevitably collide. It's a question that may yet involve the Territory's Human Rights Commission or even the courts.
Well, she's already mentioned that because there's going to be a public interest clause, which any magistrate, judge is going to have to adhere to. It's going to state that this safe climate right is going to take precedence.
She's pleased the ACT is leading the way.
Often with radical policy mechanisms like this, we see that jurisdictions and governments are scared to step up, scared to be the first ones.
Well, Australia's Greta lets us know that this is just the start of the ACT. It's going to be rolled out everywhere, although Victoria's got human rights legislation, maybe a few other states. I don't think New South Wales does, but I'm sure they'll adapt it somehow. But this is their strategy. All right, that's it for this one.